Şimdi Peter Glerum'u takdim edeceğim. Now I would like to invite Peter Glerum, whom is European Director of European Resilience Advisory Network. He is going to give information about the network, and moreover, he will provide us information about his extensive experience in European research area, especially on disasters. The floor is yours, Peter.
Hello, good evening. Good evening for you. For me, it's still afternoon, as I'm at the moment presenting from the Caribbean island of Sint Eustatius, a part of the Netherlands, but that's not such much relevant detail. I will provide you with some information. Something went wrong. I need to go to another slide. Sorry for that. I want to talk today mainly about the Resilience Advisors Network, what we do in the research projects, and what the added value can be. Before I start with that, it's maybe also good to say that I have some experience of working in Turkey. I was for 2.5 years the deputy team leader of an EU-funded project with disaster management presidency Afet in Ankara, where I also learned to know the specific environment of disaster management in Turkey, which is, to my opinion, rather challenging, seeing the risks of Turkey. But I'm, so to say, myself an experienced disaster management from the Netherlands. I started myself approximately 30 years ago now as a fire officer in the city of The Hague. But in the Netherlands, the fire brigade is also the disaster management coordination agency. And I worked more or less 20 years with on different levels of the national government to work on disaster management. And then I started to work more and more internationally. And now I work as an international consultant. And when you say my profile, that's more or less the profile of many of the advisors of the Resilience Advisors Network. It was originally formed in the United Kingdom. It is now, I would say, really an European-wide network of experienced practitioners. We are all in the field of disaster management persons with a background in a disaster management agency, in the fire brigade, in the medical agencies. Some of us have a military background, some of us has a police background. And if you look at all the different goals now in Horizon Europe for the security societal challenge, more or less with each of the topics we have in our network, advisors who could be of added values, advisors who all have been, let's say, doing the work on disaster management in the field. For example, now I am still doing this kind of work in the field. I was, for example, deployed to Albania to coordinate the effort of the European Union to support the people of Albania after the earthquake in 2019. And now I'm, on behalf of the Dutch government, deployed to the island of Sint Eustatius, which is Dutch territory, to arrange there the COVID-19 response on the island. And I must say, to be honest, rather positive, because our island is still COVID-free. But coming back to Horizon Europe, why to embed practitioners in research projects? First of all, because it's almost obligatory now. There has been, I'm also involved since, I think, since the year of 15 in Horizon 2020 and before at FP7 research projects. And what you see is there is a lot delivered by research institutions which has no impact in the field, because, to say it bluntly, researchers have done a lot of work focused on their belief what's important, their ideas, which didn't always lead to solutions which were implementable by the practitioners. So there is a lot of research results which didn't leave, so to say, the laboratories, but stayed more or less within the research area. And as this is the societal challenges of Horizon Europe are meant to be practitioner-oriented research, applied research, not fundamental research. It's important that the research leads to impact in the real world. One of the things the European Union did over time, and I've seen it growing, is setting stricter requirements for the involvement of real practitioners in the research projects. But then you start with also getting a new problem, and I think as resilience advisors we are very much aware of that problem and are very much used to deal with that problem. You get, on the one hand, you get researchers which have all kinds of fundamental problems they want to solve, and on the other hand, you have practitioners who simply want to have quickly something that works. And those two arenas working together is not so easy. To make each other understand, it's also not so easy. Now, that's the kind of work we think we bring in as resilience advisors to have that added value. It's simply looking at the Horizon Europe, and it was also in Horizon 2020 already the case. It's simply obligatory that you show and that you do attempts, that your research results are obligatory, validated by the practitioners, and you need to have clear attempts to get it implemented in practitioner organizations, in end users, so as they call. As I said, our organization has a lot of practitioners in it. We have approximately 100 civil protection and security experts in our network. The resilience advisors is in fact a combination of a company and a network. The basis is that we are a company. I'm one of the directors of the company, but we don't have employees. What we have is all people who work with agencies, people who work as independent consultants, and we have them in a network and we hire them when we have specific projects for them, have specific works for it. But with that network, we have a broad outreach. We have at the moment experts in almost all European Union countries. We have some in the United States. We have some in Eastern Asia, some in Southern America. So we have a broad outreach in the whole domain of civil protection and humanitarian aid. And as I said, from the different background. And we learned to work in this kind of projects because many of us have the experience in this kind of project. That's also the way I got in contact with Tolga. We are now one of the partners of the Team Aware project. We came indeed together in one of those broker events he mentioned. They are very interesting platforms to get acquainted with other parties interested in Horizon 2020 project. And we had at the end to do 2 attempts to get the Team Aware project granted, but as you also saw, we got it granted with a high score. And a high score, to get that high score, because I've also been evaluator of Horizon 2020 proposals and evaluator of Horizon 2020 ongoing projects. You need to do exactly what is asked in the call. So it's very important, if you want to do such a project, that you cover the whole call, and it's also very important that you are able then, when you cover the whole call, that you have the involvement of end users in the whole broad of that call. What we now do exactly in the Team Aware project is, I think, a good example of our role. We, in fact, are the bridge between the end users and the researchers. What we do is we assure that the researchers get good input of the end user requirements. An end user is very well capable of telling you what he needs, but he is mostly not so capable of telling it in a way and in a format that it's usable for research activities. To develop an IT tool, you need to have user requirements, but in a terminology and a wording which is not a wording which is familiar to the end user. So this kind of things we are helping with them. So we are helping with that translation process, and that's at the moment exactly what we are doing in one of the work packages of the Team Aware project, where we articulate what's the environment where civil protection works in, so that the researcher has a background in which situation does it needs to be used, and how do I understand it. Further, what I said, to reach impact, you must show as a researcher that your solution works in practice. For that, there is a methodology developed which we as RAN can use. One of the large research projects still from FP7 was the Driver Plus project. And in the Driver Plus project, we were also involved. And in that project, a trial methodology was developed. And we apply that methodology in other projects. And what does that methodology do? That is not an exercise as a regular exercise, but that's an exercise where you bring your new technology in, and what it's focused on validating use of that technology, so that you have a clear methodology where you can evaluate the performance of your solution. So organizing that specific exercises in the practice is one of the things we do, and one of the things which is necessary in Horizon Europe project to show that what you developed, that it works. And of course, you have then to deal with the different levels of technical readiness of a solution. That for the different technical readiness levels, you have other kind of trials, but in the end of the day, you must simply show that it's working in practice. So what we do then is we organize as resilience advisors those trials where we, let's say, set the scene so that the end users only have to work with those solutions and don't need to bother on how it's organized, how it's evaluated, but really can be, as an end user, should be testing if this new type of equipment, if this new IT solution, if this new software works and has added value for them. Besides this, I think it's good to mention that as a Resilience Advisor Network, we also deploy the CMINE network. That CMINE network that will also be involved in the Team Aware project. But that's a platform, and I think if you are interested in disaster related research, it's also interesting for you. But that's a network platform, and I think it best describe it as a kind of LinkedIn platform focused on crisis management. So a small relatively, there are already more than 1,000 people in that network, where you can online discuss and online exchange information regarding crisis management innovation things. So also very useful tool to promote innovation and to promote working together. When I end, I want to say one more thing. I already said that the Resilience Advisors network is a network, but we operate through a company. Well, I'm one of the directors of the company. I said before, we were based in the United Kingdom, but we also had to deal with issues with the UK leaving the European Union. So now our company is based in the Republic of Ireland, and it's a very special company because no one of the directors lists themselves in Ireland. We are really a European based company doing this kind of project. We have at the moment as network 2 ongoing Horizon 2020 projects. We are also discussing also proposals already for the Horizon Europe to go on with that. And besides that, we advise governments, we advise companies on crisis management, on disaster management, and we cooperate in other European projects. To come back on where I started, I worked as a deputy team leader in that project to support your disaster management presidency in that project. We also deployed, I think, approximately 20 other advisors from the Resilience Advisors Network to give trainings to the people of Afet, and also to support with developing protocols and developing guidelines. And that we do also in other projects. For example, at the moment in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we also do it for the Portuguese government, for other European Union projects. We are also working for the United Kingdom government still. So a big portfolio of different things, but very interesting in the Horizon 2020 arena. Because also myself, I must say, it's always nice to be on the edge of research and practice, and to see if we can help. In fact, because that's for us the added value. If we can help researchers with getting their research implemented into the practice. Thank you for listening, and of course I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Peter, for your presentation. I think you gave us a very good picture of the practitioner's view, and also the information you provided about TeamAware and your perspective show us how complementary is technology providers' work is with practitioner needs. So I think we had a very good workshop with all this information. Now I would like to go with the questions, and I will continue Turkish. Peter'a çok teşekkür ettim. Çünkü ilk müdahale ekiplerinin aslında teknoloji sağlayıcı kuruluşlarla Ufuk programında nasıl işbirliği yaptıklarının güzel bir resmini çizdi. Ve TeamAware projesinde de bu işbirliğinin nasıl sağlandığını daha iyi göstermiş oldu bize. Şimdi sorularınızla devam etmek istiyorum.